Hello, I'm with Chalan Aras of CloudBridge Citrix to discuss the company's approach to networking, applications and data centers. Chalan, thank you for joining us. Now, Citrix hasn't traditionally been associated with networking, so tell us something about how the whole picture fits together and what's the role of networking at Citrix?
Sure. So Citrix is obviously known for applications and virtualization of applications. We now call that workspace services because we see that many applications are grouped into workspaces and they're delivered to users. Now, when you think about delivering applications to users, they do have to traverse a network because you can't just have applications stuck in the cloud. So that's where networking becomes a critical component of our overall solution. And we recently recognized that further and decided to elevate our overall networking solutions, which now we call delivery networking. So we produce the applications, the workspace, then we deliver them through Citrix networking solutions to users.
Let's start from the data center. How does Citrix delivery networking bring value there, especially in the SDN?
So data center, as you know, is evolving, and software-defined networking and network function virtualization is becoming the new set of actions to bring more value and tie networking to applications. So we've been participating in the SDN environment and the data center primarily with our NetScaler product, which is an application delivery controller, or you can think of it as a network function virtualization component that's focused on layer 4 through layer 7. So in the SDN, generally the discussion has been around tying virtual components together through layer 2, layer 3. What we focus on is how do we add additional value in layer 4 through layer 7, and primarily by considering what the applications need. How do the applications need to be managed as workloads are spread across the data center via underlying software-defined network technology. One of the key things that we do is we do tie very closely with, in terms of things like service chaining. How do you have multiple components that work with each other? And specifically, we work with partners such as Cisco, with Cisco ACI, where we believe we have the deepest integration in the market working with Cisco.
But what happens when the apps are all around the world? How do you address the proliferation of lots of mini clouds?
So it's a very interesting phenomenon. You would think that applications should be in just a few locations. But as we're discovering, it sometimes is beneficial to have more smaller cloud locations because of geographic proximity, because of redundancy, sometimes just because of cost. So when there are more, call it mini clouds, we have new challenges. One challenge is, how do you even direct the users to these mini clouds? And how do you make that selection? So in that case, we offer, for example, our NetScaler to act as a gateway. From there, we use its global server load balancing capabilities to send the users to the appropriate mini cloud, depending on user's profile, depending on a workload at that instant, depending on the application that they're planning to consume. So mini clouds are a good thing overall, but they do need a new solution or an augmented solution to make sure the users can be steered to the appropriate mini cloud at that given time.
So how do these apps go from these clouds or data centers to the users?
Yeah, that's always the missing part. People say, oh, I will put all my apps in the data center or cloud and they'll magically appear. Well, it's not that magic. In fact, with these mini clouds and general cloud migration, there's actually a tectonic shift going on. Because the prior network designs based on IPVPN or MPLS are essentially called hardwired networks. But clouds don't have plugs. You really can't plug into a cloud anymore. So therefore, there has to be a new solution that accommodates both existing data center networks and the cloud deployments. We recently announced a new capability that we call Virtual Wide Area Network, so CloudBridge Virtual Wide Area Network. What it does is it lets you build a virtual overlay network on top of MPLS, broadband internet, even things like 4G LTE or satellite, to have a fully virtualized layer, similar to what's done in the data center, but to provide connectivity from branches where most people are deployed for enterprises to data centers or even clouds.
So the wide area network is critical. What other unique value do you bring to this challenge?
So there are three value points that we bring with our specific virtual WAN solution. The first one is that by mixing and matching different networks, we're able to provide capacity at a lower cost. For example, we do know that video is driving a lot of increased network consumption. Video is not worth as much as other critical applications. So many enterprises hesitate in paying more for additional bandwidth when the value is not there. So in this case, we can mix, for example, MPLS and broadband networks, where you can have a lot more capacity, but have a different quality service profile such that both critical applications are served as well as video applications are served. Secondly, as applications are more centralized into data centers or cloud, having branches connected all the time becomes absolutely imperative. So in that case, because we can virtualize multiple networks again, we're able to provide always-on branch connectivity. So if one network slows down, we can move the applications to the other network. So therefore, users always see network applications being delivered. Lastly, we provide agility. So if a business wants to have different cost points for their networks, if they want to try different service providers, now they can. They can add one provider, second provider, third provider, drop the first one if needed, and therefore manage their costs, their relationships, and their long-term contracts by using virtualized wider networks.
Chalan, thank you very much.